What is going on? Welcome back to Financial Journey. So today I want to talk to you about Healthier Choices Management, ticker is HCMC. It's been a while since I've given an HCMC update, so I wanted to go over some of the recent news and what it means for investors. Before I get into any of that though, make sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that, let's get right to it. So based on this, you can see there's been two pieces of news recently, October the 2nd and also September the 26th. And then my last video, I did cover this news that came out on September the 12th. Where it's just giving a update on, I guess, the IPO, where it does state it's going to be the beginning of Q4, talks on the whole Class A and B. One thing that I did not like, once again, just to reiterate my video, is that they might be moving the ex-dividend date once again, because it was supposed to be the tail end of April, but I think they might be moving it. So that's kind of a little bit more problematic. And that's one thing that I saw as a massive red flag, and I kind of let people know about that. But other than that though, there has been some other updates after this that kind of make things look sketchy. So over the last little bit, basically since the beginning of 2023, I have been bringing up how there's been a lot of Form 4s. And these Form 4s do represent inside or management selling essentially. But the last ones that did come out on September the 11th were Form 144s. So essentially, just a lot of the VPs are just dumping all of their shares, including even their incentive awards, so the options. So as you can see, this one is John Ellwood, this one is Christopher Santee, and this one is good old Jeffrey Holman, so the good old CEO. So HCMC is unfortunately having their management jump ship. And this is something I did say at the very beginning of the year. A lot of people are like, no, you're just overreacting. You're just saying blah, 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 just spreading a FUD. Well, turns out, no, they are completely jumping ship. And this is even more problematic because if you do piggyback all of this with this recent news on how they are trying to change the whole ex-dividend date. That means management do not care about the ex-dividend date or to potentially get HCWC shares. So they're probably just going to be awarded or given shares. So that's still a little bit more dilution as well, because it does also state that there's going to be an additional 400,000 shares just manually just created of Class A shares, potentially to be raised another about 60,000 if underwriters do agree. So that most likely is going to be given to the management. Still very sketchy stuff that's been happening behind the scenes. And still, like I said, no update from the New York Stock Exchange's website. But still, I digress. I move on from that though. So based on this news that did come out on October the 2nd, it does say HCMC announces another acquisition, Ellwood Thompson's, a natural food market located in Richmond, Virginia. So a couple of things. I don't like their play on words on how they say another acquisition. That just kind of makes it seem like it's just routine, like going to the store and doing something. But ultimately, it doesn't really actually say what they purchased it for. They add this little snippet that draws people's attention because they see 70 million on an annualized basis. Like, oh, this is an amazing deal. But you also have to factor in this is coming from HCMC's management, and they're talking on HCMC as a whole is now going to be generating around an estimated 70 million in revenue. So once again, it's not that good because I do believe, I could be wrong about this, but I believe that their previous annualized revenue is around 65 million. So Ellwood Thompson technically doesn't do that good of a job and doesn't really essentially add that much to HCMC. And once again, it doesn't actually state how much they actually did buy this for. And the fact that they did it on October the 6th, right outside of the next quarter, that means we do actually have to wait until most likely like January, February to find out the results of this on how much they actually purchased this for. So this is very sketchy timing in my opinion. And clearly you can tell over 2023, I've grew to not really trust HCMC's management at all. And I actually used to be a very big fan of HCMC management and everything that they were trying to do. But this whole spinoff is just completely just milking HCMC. But that's just my own opinion, not a financial advisor. This is Ellwood Thompson's website. Pretty standard stuff. I clicked on it around and everything works. So it's a good functioning website. It's not sketchy or anything like that. So nothing, no hate against Ellwood Thompson by any means. But second news that did come out on September the 26th, HCMC did file a patent infringement lawsuit against Reynolds vapor company over View's product involving HCMC patent not previously litigated. So pretty standard stuff. So this is technically now two things that does I guess, benefit HCMC as a whole. Just to go over their website, once again, this is their main focuses. And so they are technically going to be spinning off to HCWC, the wellness center, their grocery chain, and the vitamin store. And actually, on a side note, this is something that did kind of bother me as well, is going back over to this news right here. So previously, it was not supposed to be the vitamin store, but actually you can even see that they highlight it, is the fact that now they are including the actual vitamin store. Previously, it was only indicated to be the grocery chain and the wellness center, but somehow they're adding the vitamin store. Not really sure why, because clearly there's fat profit margins like I indicated, and most likely on their books they did have a pretty significant amount of inventory. So it was the logical thing to do. Just now that they're adding it, it kind of seems sketchy once again. But still, as I said, basically HCMC is just going to be left with the intellectual property. So it is going to be that patent 170 and now this new one with against RJ Reynolds. So ultimately, if you are investing in HCMC, you ultimately just have to focus on those two lawsuits. That is absolutely it. I wish they were able to actually sell some of their intellectual property to generate some sort of revenue for HCMC as a whole that wasn't going to just be milked dry to HCWC. But still, because again, on a side note, I have brought this up many times. I know a lot of people did get into HCMC because of that patent 170 lawsuit. So the fact that that's all that's left, it's just very unfortunate how all of this did play out. So let me know your thoughts on HCMC. What's your thoughts on this new lawsuit, them actually buying Ellwood Thompson, and how much do you think that is logically worth? I would say no more than about $250,000. That's pretty much being generous in my opinion as well. But it'd be very interesting to find out exactly how much they actually did pay for this. And just on a side note, what's your viewpoint on this spinoff? Are you kind of done with it? Are you still hanging on tight just for the whole spinoff? What's your kind of take on all of that? Volume has been completely drying up. So around 95 million is the average. So just about like $9,000, give or take. So still very low as far as that. So let me know your thoughts on HCMC. Are you still a fan? What's your kind of thoughts on that? Do you think I'm too bearish? I know that's one thing that I've been getting quite a lot. And I think it's fairly understandable where I'm coming from, just on a side note, because I know when it comes down to this, I've seen more than enough companies try to hide things. And they're just trying to throw this 70 million on here just to distract people, saying, oh, look, 70 million. But logically, people don't realize what it previously was, just to kind of rule it all out. Like, I don't know, they're just treating investors like they're dumb, but that's just, again, my thoughts. Don't forget to hit that thumbs up and subscribe. I always greatly appreciate that. And with that said, I appreciate all of you watching.